Okay? So if we're looking at powers and I write negative 2 to the power of 3, and I ask you to write this in expanded form, how would I write this? Yep. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which equals, we have a negative times a negative, which is a positive. Now I have a positive multiplied by a negative, which is good. So 2 times 2, 4 times 2. So the answer to this is negative 8. What if I do this now? So for B, we know the result's going to be positive 8 because our base, remember the base of a power, is the base positive or negative? Is the base here positive or negative? Negative. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so first we want to identify where the base is. What is the base of this power? Which part is the base? This part is the base of the power. It's negative 2 to the power of 3. But you're right, we do have a negative sign outside the bracket. So I'm going to keep that negative sign there for now. And I know that the base, which is negative 2, needs to be repeated how many times? So I'm going to repeat negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. So let's solve this part first. We did it over here. What is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2? Negative 8, right? But what did we have to include that was in front of the bracket, outside of the power? A negative, right? Does everyone agree it's negative, negative 8? Well, what happens when you put two negatives together? It becomes positive. So this answer is actually positive 8. So in this question we have a negative 2 to the power of 3. Are there brackets? So what does this negative mean? This negative sign means that the power is a negative number. This is a negative 2 to the power of 3. So this is actually your power. It's a negative power. There's no brackets. So the base is actually just 2. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. But we're told that it's a negative power. So the answer for this one is actually negative 8. Okay? A negative outside the bracket, and then we know this is our base, and we're multiplying it by itself how many times? 4 times. So I'm going to multiply negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. What is the answer to this part of the question? Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 16. Does everyone agree that this becomes positive 16 because we have 2 negatives, which make a positive, and another 2 negatives, which make a positive. 2 positives make a positive. We have positive 16. But what was in front of the power? Negative. So the solution to this is actually what? What's the final answer? Negative 16. Raise your hand if you got negative 16 for that one. 16. Yep.
Because the exponent is at 4 negative.
The power, it's 2 to the power of 4, but it's a negative power, right? It's a negative answer. And then finally, in the last one, inside the bracket, we have negative 2 to the power of 4. This means that this power is a negative power. So it's negative 16, right? There's no bracket inside the bracket. It's negative 2 to the power of 4. But then we have, yep, 2 negatives make a... So the answer to this one was actually positive 16.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.